Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to completely flip the script on a sound you probably make absent-mindedly every single day. I'm talking about humming. Most of us just think of humming as a passive habit, right? Just a little musical quirk to pass the time while doing the dishes. But well, the science reveals something completely different. Humming is actually a profound, multi-system mechanical intervention. It is literally a biological lever you can pull to immediately alter your cardiovascular, nervous, and respiratory systems. Before we even get into the mechanics of how this works, I actually want you to physically feel this. Right now, wherever you are, close your mouth, pick any comfortable note, and just hum for about 10 seconds. Now, if you're on a crowded bus right now, maybe just hum quietly so you don't scare your neighbor. But seriously, pay very close attention to where that vibration actually travels. You'll notice it doesn't just hang out in your throat. You can feel it radiating into the bones of your face, right behind your cheeks, up above your eyes, and even deep into the back of your skull. Now, what's really interesting about this is the sheer physics of what you just felt. That vibration, that's bone conduction. It's propagating through the solid structures of your skull at a massive 3,000 to 4,000 meters per second. That is incredibly fast. We're talking 9 to 12 times faster than sound travels through the air. Your skull is basically acting as a vibrating shell, immediately delivering physical, mechanical energy to some very specific, hidden architecture inside your head. Here's our anatomical roadmap for today. We'll be covering 1. The anatomy of a hum, 2. The nitric oxide pump, 3. Vibrating the vagus nerve, 4. The perfect breathing ratio, 5. A brain fluid flush, and 6. Your built-in pharmacy. This is going to show us exactly how a single frequency impacts 5 completely distinct physiological mechanisms. Section 1. The anatomy of a hum. Let's take a look at those hidden spaces carved right into your skull. So your skull actually contains 4 pairs of air-filled chambers called the paranasal sinuses. You've got the maxillary sinuses behind the cheeks, those are the big ones. The frontal sinuses sitting right behind your forehead. The really delicate ethmoid sinuses nestled right between your eyes, and the sphenoid sinuses located super deep in the center of your skull. And here is a vital paradigm shift. These are not just vestigial drainage pipes waiting to get infected, not at all. They are 4 pairs of active, bony resonance chambers that receive the vibrations of your hum all at the exact same time. Your sinuses basically operate as Helmholtz resonators. Think of the physics that makes a wine glass sing when you run a wet finger around the rim. That's acoustic resonance. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer elegance of human anatomy because your body effortlessly finds its optimal resonance frequency without you even having to think about it. For men, a natural, comfortable hum usually falls between 100 and 200 hertz. For women, it's typically between 200 and 400 hertz. And it just so happens that these natural pitches perfectly match the resonant frequency of those maxillary sinuses. It's almost as if the biological design is entirely intentional, causing the air inside those chambers to effortlessly oscillate at maximum amplitude. Okay, let's dive into this next part. Section 2. The nitric oxide pump. Let's see how acoustic ventilation connects the physics of resonance to your cardiovascular health. The mucosal lining of your sinuses is continuously producing an incredible gas called nitric oxide. Remember, this is a crucial molecule that powerfully dilates or opens up your blood vessels. It's also antimicrobial. Now, during normal, quiet breathing, the nitric oxide just slowly diffuses out of a narrow opening called the ostium at a rate of about 0.2 parts per million. Essentially, most of the gas just sits in the cavity stagnating. But humming changes the physics entirely. That vibration acts as an active acoustic pump, physically flushing the accumulated nitric oxide out into your airway at 3.0 parts per million. Let's put that into perspective. That translates to a staggering 15-fold magnitude multiplication of exhaled nasal nitric oxide, a 15-fold increase just for making a sound. And remember, this is a purely mechanical amplification driven by sound waves and bone conduction. You aren't taking a pharmacological dose of anything. You are just using your own biological architecture to pump out an incredible molecule 15 times faster. Let's walk through the exact sequence here. First, nitric oxide is continuously produced in the sinus epithelium. Second, your hum acoustically pumps it forcefully right through that narrow ostium. Third, you inhale, and that deeply NO-enriched air travels down the trachea and straight into your lungs. Finally, it dilates your pulmonary capillaries. What's absolutely amazing here is that this is the exact, identical molecular mechanism used by multi-billion-dollar pharmaceutical vasodilators. By dilating those capillaries, you massively increase your oxygen diffusion area. You know that subtle feeling of clarity and alertness you get after you hum? That's enhanced oxygen transfer, all courtesy of your built-in sinus pump. Moving right along to Section 3, vibrating the vagus nerve and gaining nervous system control. The vagus nerve is essentially the master control switch for your parasympathetic nervous system, your body's rest and digest mode. When you hum, you stimulate this nerve in a highly unique, unbroken, dual delivery method. Locally, the vibrating tissue of your larynx directly shakes the nerve running right alongside it. Remotely, that crazy fast 3,000 meter per second bone conduction hits the nerve through the temporal bone. This continuous mechanical shaking triggers mechanosensitive ion channels. The result? A highly measurable drop in your heart rate by 2 to 5 beats per minute, and a spike in your heart rate variability. It actively forces your autonomic balance toward a state of calm, requiring zero conscious effort. Seriously, next time you're stuck in stressful traffic, remember this is a switch you can flip to instantly lower your heart rate. Section 4. The perfect breathing ratio. Let's look at forced respiratory pacing. This breaks down the sheer physical constraint of a hum. I mean, try it. You literally cannot hum while breathing in. The vocal cords absolutely require exhaled air to vibrate. Therefore, holding a note naturally forces you into a short inhale of around 2.5 seconds, followed by a long, extended exhale of around 10 seconds. This effortlessly creates a perfect 4-to-1 exhale-dominant breathing ratio. Clinical protocols like box breathing or coherence breathing spend weeks trying to teach patients how to achieve this exact ratio just to trigger the baroreceptor reflex and slow the heart down. But humming? Humming forces you into this clinically optimal breathing pattern automatically, no counting or training required. Section 5. A brain fluid flush. Let's look at pressure and clearance up in the skull. So when you hum, you are pushing air out against a partially closed glottis. This creates increased airway resistance and actually elevates your intrathoracic pressure, the pressure inside your chest. Because your chest cavity is directly connected to your skull via open venous tubes, this pressure hydraulically transmits straight up into your intracranial space. The result is a gentle, rhythmic oscillation of intracranial pressure. This pressure wave acts on the cerebrospinal fluid surrounding your brain, potentially amplifying your glymphatic clearance system. Think of it like a gentle power wash for all the metabolic waste, like amyloid beta, that naturally builds up in your brain tissue throughout the day. So the crucial point is right here in Section 6, your built-in pharmacy. This is really the key to multi-system wellness. It's really vital to maintain strict epistemic humility here. We always want to clearly separate the hard, replicated science from the preliminary theories to make sure we're getting the real picture. We have 3 fully confirmed mechanisms: that incredible 15-fold increase in sinus nitric oxide production, the direct mechanical stimulation of the vagus nerve, and the clinically perfect exhale-dominant breathing ratio. Then, sitting on a slightly different shelf of evidence, we have our physically sound but still speculative mechanisms: the enhanced cerebrospinal fluid oscillation for brain clearance, and the vestibular sense of groundedness from bone conduction. But honestly, even the confirmed mechanisms alone completely justify the incredible power of a hum. Just look at this stark contrast. It's honestly mind-blowing. The pharmaceutical industry has spent billions developing inhaled nitric oxide delivery systems involving huge compressed gas cylinders, highly precise flow regulators, and dedicated respiratory therapists, all costing thousands of dollars per single treatment. But guess what? Your face comes pre-installed with the exact same delivery mechanism, and it's completely free. You have a biological delivery system sitting right there. 4 pairs of sinus chambers, an ostium, and a closed mouth. It's a low-dose, daily, fully accessible version of the exact same molecular pathway. And this right here is exactly why it's so incredibly effective. If you've ever been stressed out and someone told you to just relax, you know how impossible that feels, right? It's because relaxation isn't always a psychological switch you can just mentally flip. Humming works via pure, literal physics, acoustic resonance, and fluid dynamics. As this perfectly summarizes, the physiological calm arrives whether you believe in it or not. Your vagus nerve doesn't care about your mindset at all. It just responds to mechanical vibration. Which leaves us with this final, genuinely awe-inspiring question. If simply closing your mouth and humming a single note for 60 seconds can act as a multi-system intervention, literally dilating pulmonary capillaries, shifting your entire autonomic nervous system, and optimizing your breathing ratio. What other hidden biological machinery is just waiting to be unlocked inside your own body? You carry a pharmacy, a metronome, and an acoustic pump with you everywhere you go. Seriously, try it tonight before bed. Close your mouth, pick a note, and let the skull do the rest. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next one.